just had the most heated fucking discussion with my school. This school, my God. Hey everyone, so this video is going to be very yap heavy, very complaining heavy, because breaking contract has become a little more difficult than I thought it was. If you want to just dive right into the full story, skip to this timestamp. This is just my real-time reaction after I had some very heated meetings. Left school today and had the biggest argument with my school. I basically went to war with them over me moving out of these fucking apartments. Look at them. Literally, teacher housing in Japan is quite literally rough, the slums. I mean, look at how bad. Really rough. Basically, they want me to move all of my, not even mine, they want me to move all of the furniture out of my apartment, and they want me to replace all the tatami mats, which is crazy to me because all of the furniture that I got, or that's in my apartment, was there when I arrived. And when I arrived, as I've said many times, this place was disgusting, horrible. It was so bad. Mail. Here we go. 4 flights of stairs. They want me to take out all of the furniture in my apartment to sell it. I don't know, get rid of it. So for the next ALT to not have, first of all, not doing that because all of this furniture is not even mine. I didn't buy anything except for that small couch. And it's so frustrating because being an ALT, like, everyone's talking about, like, here's the rules, it's the rules, this, that, and the other. It's like, I'm listening to the rules. I followed the rules. I gave a 2-month notice, and if I would have left 4 flights of stairs, if I would have left on time, or if I would have left, like, suddenly, this would have been y'all's problem anyway. 4th floor. The humble abode. But literally, like, this would have been, like, all of this furniture here was not mine. I never asked anybody permission if I wanted to keep any of this stuff, get rid of any of this stuff, nothing. And now they're coming at me like, okay, well, because you're leaving early, breaking contract or whatever, you yourself and you, Brittany, alone, needs to get rid of all of this. Mind you, I'm already getting a moving company to move out, like, my stuff, the stuff that is mine. For example, like, all of my knickknacks, everything, all of my little decor, whatever. I'm getting rid of everything. Not getting rid, but I'm bringing it with me to my new place, as I should. That's understandable. That's how you move out of a new place. I am so annoyed. I'm just annoyed. Like, and the amount of money that they are expecting me to spend right now for the tatami mats, they want me to replace all of these tatami mats. And guess how much? Guess how much one of these mats is? Guess how much one of these are? They are between like 7,000 and 10,000 yen. Now that's about like $70 to $100 per mat. Ridiculous. Unreasonable. I'm leaving in a month. There's no way that any person would be able to spend that kind of money. Yeah, I just went to war with my office staff and one of my teachers who was like translating, and they thankfully understood where I was coming from, where I'm like, hey, I came here and all of this stuff was here, and as y'all remember, this place was disgusting. It was so gross. I've made it so much better. I painted the walls, I've cleaned, I fixed as much as I can. Like, I've done as much as I can without, like, hiring somebody to, like, I don't know, fix. I think like the doors and windows are kind of like the worst part because they're not insulated at all. But I'm not fixing that. Like, there's screens that are broken over here. Like, these are all these screens are like, that screen is like non-existent. This one's like so broken. But it's been like that since I got here. So I don't know, like, I just like flat out said, I'm not paying for that. And I kind of, like, with my argument, kind of, mayhaps, we shall see, I maybe got them to think a little bit about how crazy this is. They actually did say that it was crazy, and they agreed with me that this is crazy. Like, look, I'm moving! I have all my shit ready to move my stuff. It's gonna be gone. All of this furniture is not mine. I didn't pay for it. And you bet your ass I'm not taking this giant table out of here. They want me. Okay. This is really important. Because here's the things that they want me to get rid of. This aircon. In the summer, a necessary item to keep cool. They want me to get rid of. And one more thing, as I did a hair change. When you come on the JET program, please, 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 whatever like your housing situation is, if you decide to stay in the housing that the school gives you, learn from me what's happening right now with like these charges that are just coming up. Ask them to say something to you and give you something in writing of exactly what you will be responsible for paying for in your in your particular housing. Because not everybody's, like, apartment or house has tatami. So you might have to deal with the tatami. But I know a lot of people who do actually have to get rid of all the furniture in their place. That's just like, oh, because they're in a new apartment or new house or something. That's just kind of a rule. However, in my case, getting rid of furniture is not a rule that anyone in my building has to deal with. So it's just very interesting that I'm having even this discussion with my school. In regards to tatami, I'm flat out just refusing to pay for it because they are telling me so short notice. And all of my other ALT friends who live in my building, their school takes out like 1,000 or 2,000 yen every paycheck for the inevitable time when they're going to leave to pay for the tatami. My school never said anything or hasn't like mentioned or nothing. That didn't exist. So ask, because I would have loved to have known so that I could have told my school, like, hey, I would like to pay that over time instead of now they're dropping it on me. I'm like, I can't afford that. Sorry, I can't afford $500, $600 to replace floors that I'm not even going to live in. And also, we don't even know when the next ALT is coming, so who knows how long this brand new floor will be here and no one's going to use it, if ever. So, just need to get that out of my brain. I'm so mad! Hello everyone. Sorry, that is a bit of a info dump with no explanation. Really sorry, I didn't explain anything very well. Let's get ready for my day. And let me talk about what the hell is going on with me leaving my apartment, breaking contract, and moving. Okay. Also, please don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps me out a lot. Leave a few comments. Feeling sorry for me, because that's what I really need right now. Some emotional support, because this has been far too much. Too much. I'm leaving very soon. And I'm stressed. So the videos I just showed were like real-time reaction of when I was pulled into my school's office and they had to talk to me about what to do with my apartment because I am breaking contract and leaving the JET program to move to Nagoya, as I have said multiple times. I gave the courtesy of a 2-month resignation, like letter of leaving, so that everything could be squared away early, because I have actually quite a few friends who were ALTs on the JET program who lived like in the same area as me or like towards Himeji, who found a partner in Japan or they found an extra job in Japan and were able to break contract and move somewhere else with either their partner or start like a new career kind of a thing, which is awesome. Unfortunately, on the JET program, the contract is from August to August. However, in Japan, contracts are April 1st to April 1st, like spring. So to stay in Japan longer and trying to get another job, you have to actually start working in spring. Unfortunately, that's just kind of how it is. Teachers at your school will move around and change in March because they're going to start in a new school April 1st. Normal. So, of course, me finding a new job for April 1st had to happen, was gonna happen. Sorry, I'm not showing what I'm using. I'm just like really, really focused. I'm using face blur from Etude. Yeah, so obviously I found a new job that was gonna start in spring, because finding a job in August is really hard because all of the other foreigners and ALTs, if they stay on contract, will have to go and find a new job in August. So it's easier as a foreigner to do it in spring. That's just how it is if you want to find a new job. Obviously there's exceptions, but overall, that's what everybody does, usually. So gave my letter, it was fine. Luckily my principal understood, teachers understood. They all knew I had a boyfriend who lives in Nagoya because everyone is nosy. And because I tried to get transferred in like November, December, my principal was kind enough to try to transfer me. He tried like through the JET program. If you have a spouse or partner and prove that you have a spouse or partner in Japan who is Japanese, you can possibly move to them, or if you have a medical condition. Rarely does it happen, but we tried. Didn't work out. There's like 2 ALTs who are contracted with the JET program in Nagoya City, like 2 or 3 of them. So not many, and they're not leaving anytime soon. Couldn't do that. So after that, squared away, had to do paperwork and stuff, normal things. And then I get told that my apartment needs to be cleared of absolutely everything in it. All the furniture, all the appliances, everything. Every single thing. And I'm like, when one of my supervisors told me, I was like, no. And she was like, no. And she looked at me, she's like, oh, it's a rule. It's a rule. And I was just like, okay, no. She got all frustrated and passed that on to a different supervisor. Fine. So I had to meet with the office staff, like the head of the office, and like there's another office person who deals directly with like all of my stuff, like my banking and my housing kind of stuff. There's 2 of them actually. So we met with one of them and they were like, so you're moving, you have to pay for these tatami floors, which there are, how many did I say? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The other one has 5, 11. So there's 11, not me counting. So there's 11 tatami floors, and they are a couple $100 each to replace. Ridiculous. I was like, no one ever told me that. When I moved here, no one told me that. And also, these sliding doors, they wanted me to replace too, and I was like, there's nothing wrong with them. I have other friends who live in this building who their doors are actually disgusting, actually need to be replaced. There's like food smeared on it, or like, I don't know, weird, gross stuff. And it's like, you can't clean it. It's paper. You cannot clean those doors like you would a regular wall or regular flooring. Why are, again, why do they put ALTs in an apartment where you have to replace very, very expensive stuff every time you leave is beyond me. And I'm just like, no, I'm not doing that. No one told me. Why do I have to do that? And they're just like, it's a rule, it's a rule. If I hear like, it's a rule one more time, I'm going to scream. Because they are just like blindly following. This is just such a very Japanese thing, to blindly follow whatever the rule is set by whoever the fuck knows years and years ago, and not questioning anything is... And don't you dare be in the comments like, it's a cultural thing, you don't understand. I understand the culture. I've been here for almost 4 years. I understand. But when it applies directly to me and my money, how much I have to pay when I've already paid for a moving company and paid for a bunch of other stuff to leave here. Truly, if like, this is how it is about like leaving the JET program, like breaking contract, it's better to just randomly leave one day and not say anything instead of giving like a 2-month or a 6-month notice, because they don't tell you anything until like they're like, oh, you have to pay for that. Really, really. And my other friends as well, they had a similar experience with like extreme passive aggression from teachers making you feel guilty, like, oh, think about the students. It's like, think about me. I have like my life to live. These students will get more ALTs. Like, it always will happen. There's a never-ending flow of ALTs. I have given my life and soul to this school and spent a lot of my own money on like games and crafts, so much time building and making so much stuff for like Christmas, Halloween, and even just like in class things. No one ever asked me like, do you want a refund for that? Nobody. Nobody at all. Insane. So I do such a good job and y'all are gonna give me a hard time is what is driving me crazy. Anyway, I'm going on a tangent. Anyway, so I just like flat out said no. And then they said, well, you have to get rid of all of the furniture in your apartment. And I was like, that made me like, I stopped like, what do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean I have to get rid of my furniture? I'm on the 4th floor of my apartment. This is not like an easy feat to get rid of 2 beds, 2 dressers, a giant dining room table, 2 air cons, like a ton of shit that, again, was here when I got here. And I said that to them. I was like, why do I have to get rid of stuff? Because all of this was here when I got here, except for that small couch that I bought after I was here for like 6 months because the other ones were so gross. And they're like, oh, it was here when you got here? I'm like, yeah. And they're like, didn't you sign off on like from the previous ALT? I'm like, no. No one asked me if I wanted any of this stuff. Apparently that's what you're supposed to do when there's like a change of ALTs in the summertime. Like you are supposed to be able to get in contact with your predecessor who is here to see the apartment, see what you want, probably buy stuff from them. That's pretty normal. Because I'm leaving, that won't be able to happen. Even though I gave plenty of time that my school should have been able to find an early departure in April. I don't know why. I don't know why. Maybe they're not doing early departures anymore. I'm not sure. Yeah, so I said, like, no one ever asked me. All of this stuff was just here. It was also in a very disgusting, horrible state. It was like it was so awful. I can't believe like I had to sleep here and wasn't able to clean. Like no one left me cleaning supplies or anything. I had to like find all that on my own. On my first day here, go watch my video about like my first week here in Japan. It was very, very hard. And I powered through. I did not complain at all because I was like, okay, I just gotta deal with this. This is just how it is. Like, I'm lucky I'm even in Japan because again, it was during COVID. So because I could not contact my predecessor, it was because it was COVID. She was like brought back to her home country like a lot of people were. So many people were brought back to their home country. So I was like, you cannot expect me to have to get rid of all of this furniture in a month. There's no way. And they're like, well, you have to. And I was just like, well, I'm not doing that. And this is why I was very passionately saying, regarding your apartment, this is a very, very every situation is different. ESID, girl, ESID. That's just kind of how it is. But you need to get in writing as much information as possible about what you are responsible for fixing, what you are responsible for paying whenever it is you leave. Because another thing that I found out after like this whole meeting of me saying no, 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 and then like showing me the price of the tatami, it was 70,000 yen to replace the tatami. Just the tatami, not even these doors. And I was like, that is the amount I'm gonna pay for the moving company. Hello? I was like, what? For flooring that I'm never gonna use? Besides the point. So I found out from like my other ALT friends who live in my building, some of them, their school takes out money from their paycheck every month to prepare to pay for the tatami. And I was like, does my school do that? I checked like my receipts from like when they give me like the payment for each month, like the taxes and stuff like that. I'm like, nope, it's just for rent. So I'm like, if y'all need payment for tatami and these fuck ass doors, take it out over time, or don't put ALTs in an apartment where you have to pay that much money. I know that like having a tatami place is very, very cool when you first get to Japan, the sliding doors and blah, blah, blah. But it is like 9 times out of 10 going to be a very, 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 very old house, very, 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 very old apartment, as you can see. Knowing how this all plays out, definitely would prefer not this, just because for a newer apartment with no tatami and no sliding doors, you do not have to pay for all that. But like, this is teacher housing, so a lot of ALTs live in this. A lot of Japanese teachers live in this because it's cheap. So yeah, we have that meeting. I flat out refuse. I'm like, I'm not paying for all that. And they're just like, okay. And I just kind of was like, I'm not paying for it. And I'm really fucking glad I did, because look this is what I found out later. Like a week later, I find out, so I'm in Hyogo Prefecture with the Hyogo Board of Education. I find out that Hyogo Prefecture is tearing down these teacher buildings that are all over Hyogo. I know so many people who live in them, in Himeji, past Himeji, towards Kobe, like more in, like all over this prefecture. These kind of housings are everywhere. They are tearing them down in 2028, in 3 years. Why the fuck would I be paying for new tatami and new doors when this place is being torn down in 3 years? And you know what else I find out? My school, I went back for a second meeting and they were like still arguing with me. And I was like, I want all this furniture to be here for the next ALT. And then they're like, oh, there won't be a next ALT. What do you mean? They said, oh, the next ALT is going to have to find their own apartment. First of all, I don't think in the JET program they do that very much, besides in Tokyo. Second of all, you want me to pay for new tatami, flooring, and doors when no one's gonna be here? I was like literally losing my mind. I was like, so why would I do that? And they're like, oh, it's a rule, it's a rule. I'm like, that's crazy. I literally looked at them, I'm like, that's crazy, you know that, right? And they're like they understood me, but they were also just like following. So here I am just being like, what? Losing my mind. Still genuinely just like holding my head like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Anyway, so long story shortened, they were mad at me. I was mad at them. I refused. They didn't know what to do. I also gave a very strongly worded letter to them. Very strongly worded. I'll insert it here. And I said, give this to the owner of the building, because I have been nothing and done nothing but fix this place and try to make it better. And you all want me to do what now? So, needless to say, after I gave that letter, they brought me into the office again and told me, so you don't have to pay for tatami. And I was like, correct. Also, you don't have to like move your furniture. And I was like, okay. And they're like, we in the school are going to move the furniture when you leave. And I was like, perfect. What are you going to do with it? And they're like, we're going to have to throw it away. And I just look at them like, what? What about the next ALT? And this is where they said, like, oh, there won't be a new ALT. And I was like, what the fuck? Sorry, that's so out of order. But that's when they told me, like, there won't be another ALT. And I was like, what? So you're just gonna, like, throw away all this stuff. A refrigerator, an oven, air conditioners. 2 of them, by the way. A washing machine. 2 beds. A couch. A kotatsu. So, literally so much stuff. And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, you don't... But it's like, I held my tongue after that because I was like, don't have to pay for anything. Slay. So that's when I decided to, since all of this stuff is going to be thrown away, I decided to sell everything. Most of it. Which I did, in fact. I got to sell pretty much everything that I wanted to, except for the 2 air cons, unfortunately, and the 2 beds, and this white table, which I'm kind of grateful for that I have. And I have a bed because I was like, if I did sell all that stuff, I'd be like, oh God, what am I going to do? And the air cons too, because it's kind of cold still. But yeah, that's been kind of the drama, is just my apartment and my school wanting me to pay for everything when I didn't need to. And here's the thing, can you imagine if I, like, caved and was just, like, right away, like, yes, 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 I'll pay for it, whatever, whatever. I don't want to, like, you know, make them mad at me. You have to fight. You really do. Like, if you are leaving your school, especially, like, where I was at that point, like, every single person that's at my school now, I've been there the longest now, more out of everybody, like, when I got there. The teachers that were there when I got there, like, the teachers that were there when I got there are no longer at my school. So none of them have even been in my apartment before and know how much furniture is in here. I was like, what? Finished the eyeliner. Not too bad. Anyway, as I was saying, like, can you imagine if I had just, like, blindly followed and paid for all that? And no one's gonna be here? Pissed. Beyond pissed. Beyond pissed. Like, fuming to the extreme. Yeah, it's just, like, goes to show you, like, when it comes to you being as an ALT, your school really does not know anything about you or your circumstance. Most of them have no idea, like, what the contract is for, like, most of them genuinely have no idea. So as much as you can, bring out that contract. If they are doing some shit that is like, no, take out your contract, find it, because, like, this is ridiculous. If it's not in writing, dispute it. You can't be, like, just paying money, especially if you are leaving your job, leaving this country. They cannot be taking advantage of you like that, because they will try. They will try. Like, take it from me, because they've really been trying it. Yeah, thank God I fought back, and thank God I asked around, and then found out about, like, they're tearing these buildings down. So now, all of my friends who are in these buildings now, if they're staying longer than 3 years, they gotta make some decisions or something like that. Some of my friends are leaving in August. They're the next ALT after them. I don't know what's gonna happen. So if you are placed in Hyogo in, what year is it? It's 2025. The teacher housing that a lot of people have, you will not have. So this is not going to be your journey. I'm sorry to say, I don't know what the journey will be. The school, I feel, is supposed to help you. If they don't, you need to speak up, because you can't just be coming here by yourself in Hyogo and figuring it out, because it's very rough. A pigeon just landed on, 2 pigeons just landed on my window. Look at them. Oh my god. Oh my god. That was so crazy. They never sit up there. Anyway, sorry, distracting. But yeah, if you are in Hyogo Prefecture, I don't know about the other prefectures, but this might be a trend, like, throughout Japan, that the teacher housing like this is not going to be available anymore. They might all be torn down. I don't know what's going to happen. So if that's the case, you might be able to pick and choose where you want to live, which could be nice, but also it's going to definitely be more expensive. And unfortunately, ALTs cannot pass down like their furniture and stuff as easily anymore if they're going to be moving apartments and housing all the time. So I don't know. Again, the JET program is really great to come here and be here, but leaving, man, leaving is like really rough. Even just like the regular, if you stay till your contract in August, the school really just procrastinates so much on the paperwork you have to do. You get a pension as well, and you need to get that done early. Figure that out early as possible. I don't know, ask as many people as possible. Your school does have to help you. They have an obligation to help you. It is part of their job. If they aren't, email the Board of Education. Because genuinely, some schools really try to act like, we don't have to help the ALT at all. It's not our job. It's like, it's your job. Anyway, I feel like I said everything that I wanted to say. I just need to document this and talk about it because it has been extremely frustrating. And yeah, just quitting in Japan is like, it's such a headache. Like, you hear about like there are some, like in a Japanese company, you can hire someone to like quit your job for you. And I'm just like, I get it. Because it is like, it's really rough. It's really, really, really rough. And again, it's just like the bureaucracy. Like, my principal and my teachers understand that I'm leaving. They understand. They have not been like cruel to me. The students totally understand as well. But just the fucking paperwork and shit and the thing with your apartment, it's like, it's really just makes me want to drink. It makes me want to drink. And I have. That's how I do to cope, which is not healthy. I don't recommend. But if you've been in Japan a while, that it just kind of becomes a thing you do. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope that this was very informative. Please leave any questions below if you are on the JET program, if you broke contract at all. I want to hear your story, what happened to you, because I know people who have really, really bad experiences, had to pay a ton of money, super just awful experience in every single way, unhelpful. Teachers who don't help you with documents, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, thank you so much for watching, you guys. And until I see you guys next time, bye.